What started as a drunken Christmas Eve wager becomes a life-changing journey when billionaire Elon Musk accepts an outrageous bet. Marry a plus-size woman and stay with her for 3 months to prove he's not shallow. The $50 million challenge seems like easy money to a man who has everything, until he meets brilliant NASA engineer Olivia Chen, whose sharp mind and genuine nature begin to crack his carefully constructed walls. As their business arrangement evolves into something neither expected, Elon discovers that his convenient bride has secrets of her own that could change both their worlds forever. In this emotional tale of unlikely love, two people who come together for all the wrong reasons must decide if they're brave enough to stay for the right ones. Snow rarely fell in Austin, Texas, but on this Christmas Eve, tiny flakes drifted past the floor-to-ceiling windows of Elon Musk's mansion. Inside, the city's most powerful people mingled among decorations that probably cost more than most people's homes. Elon stood by the giant Christmas tree, swirling amber liquid in a crystal glass. At 53, his face showed the stress of running multiple companies, but his eyes still had that same boyish spark when he talked about rockets or electric cars. "Quite a party, Musk," said a familiar voice. Elon turned to see Mark Cuban approaching. The billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks wore a Santa hat tilted at a jaunty angle. "Mark, glad you could make it," Elon said, giving him a quick handshake. "Thought you'd be too busy with the team." "And miss the chance to see what crazy idea you're cooking up next?" "No way." Mark grabbed a drink from a passing server. "Besides, I heard you've been single since the last breakup. Thought you might need some company during the holidays." Elon snorted. "I'm fine. Too busy for relationships anyway." "That's what lonely people always say," Mark teased. "I'm not lonely," Elon shot back. "I choose to be alone. It's different." Mark raised an eyebrow. "Sure, buddy. Keep telling yourself that." A few drinks later, they had moved to Elon's private study. The room was a mess of engineering books, rocket models, and random notes scribbled on whatever paper had been nearby. When inspiration struck, "All I'm saying," Mark continued their heated discussion, "is that real love doesn't look like what you see in those fancy magazines." "Easy for you to say." "You've been married forever," Elon replied, his words slightly slurred. The Christmas party was still going strong down the hall, but they had escaped the noise. "Exactly my point. And you know what? My wife isn't some model. She's a real woman who gained weight after our kids, has stretch marks, and I love her more now than when we met." Elon rolled his eyes. "Very noble of you." "It's not noble. It's real." Mark leaned forward. "That's your problem, Elon. You date these perfect-looking women, but you never connect. You're too worried about image." "That's not true," Elon said, feeling defensive. "I date smart women." "Smart? Sure. But they all fit a certain look, don't?" "They," Mark challenged. "When's the last time you dated someone who didn't match society's beauty standard?" Elon's face flushed. "That's not fair. I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to." "Or maybe," Mark pressed, "you're just shallow." "I am not." "Shallow!" Elon slammed his glass down. Mark's eyes lit up with mischief. "Prove it." "What?" "Prove you're not shallow. I bet you couldn't last 3 months married to someone who doesn't fit your usual type." Elon stared at him. "You're drunk." "Maybe. But I'm right." Mark grinned. "I'll bet you $50 million you can't do it." "That's ridiculous," Elon scoffed. "Is it? 50 million is nothing to you. But your pride? That's worth more, isn't it?" The alcohol buzzing through Elon's system made the challenge seem almost reasonable. You expect me to marry someone just for a bet? Not just someone. Someone wonderful who happens to be overweight. Someone real. Mark shrugged. Unless you're afraid you'll lose. Those were the magic words. Elon Musk had never backed down from a challenge in his life. Fine, he snapped. I'll do it. I'll find someone within a week and stay married for 3 months. Mark's eyes widened. He hadn't expected Elon to agree. You're serious? Dead serious. Elon pulled out his phone. Let's make it official. I'll have my lawyer draw up papers tomorrow. A knock interrupted them. Mira Patel, Elon's personal assistant, poked her head in. Mr. Musk? The governor just arrived and… She stopped, noticing the tension in the room. Is everything okay? Perfect. Timing, Mira, Elon said with a grin that made her instantly nervous. I need you to add something to my schedule. I'm getting married next week. Mira's mouth fell open. I'm sorry. What? You heard me. I need a wife by next week. He turned to Mark. And she has to be significantly overweight, right? That was the requirement? Mark looked uncomfortable now. Elon, maybe we should… No backing out now, Cuban. Elon wagged a finger at him. I accept your challenge. 50 million says I can do it. Mira stepped fully into the room and closed the door. At 35, she had worked for Elon for 7 years and was one of the few people who could speak frankly with him. Sir, with all due respect, you can't marry someone for a bet. That's insane, even for you. Sure I can, Elon replied. People marry for money all the time. This will be a business arrangement. And where exactly are you going to find this person in a week? Mira asked. Elon waved his hand dismissively. That's your job. Find me candidates. Mira crossed her arms. Absolutely not. I'm not helping you treat marriage like one of your impulsive Twitter polls. Fine, Elon huffed. I'll find someone myself. How hard can it be? Mark, who had been quiet, finally spoke up. Elon, I was just giving you a hard time. This is crazy. Too late. Elon pulled out his phone. I'm texting my lawyer now. $50 million. 3 months of marriage to an overweight woman. I'll win this bet, and you'll eat your words about me being shallow. Mira and Mark exchanged worried glances as Elon typed furiously on his phone. Oh, Elon added, looking up. And no one can know about the bet. She has to think it's real, or it doesn't count. This is going to be a disaster, Mira muttered. Or, Elon said with a confident smile, it's going to be the easiest 50 million I've ever made. Little did he know, as the snow continued to fall outside his window and guests laughed in the next room, that this drunken Christmas Eve bet would change his life in ways no one could predict. 3 days after the Christmas party, Elon still hadn't found a bride. The bet with Mark Cuban weighed on his mind as he walked through the SpaceX charity event. Engineers and their families filled the Austin Convention Center, admiring rocket models and space exhibits. Any luck with your search? Mira asked, walking beside him with her tablet. Not yet, Elon muttered. This is harder than I thought. Because it's ridiculous, Mira said under her breath. I heard that. Elon straightened his tie. Just keep an eye out. I need someone smart enough to be believable as my wife. Mira sighed. And they say romance is dead. As they walked past a Mars habitat display, Elon overheard someone speaking passionately about fuel efficiency improvements. The current system wastes too much propellant during landing, a woman was explaining to a small crowd. If we adjust the thrust vectoring algorithm, we could save nearly 12% of fuel per mission. Elon stopped to listen. The woman, Speaking had short black hair with a streak of purple. She wore a NASA t-shirt stretched over her plus-size frame. Her hands moved animatedly as she talked about rocket science in a way that even the children in the audience seemed to understand. "Who is that?" Elon asked Mira. Mira checked her tablet. "Olivia Chen, NASA engineer. She's here with her cousin who works in your propulsion department." Elon watched as Olivia finished her impromptu lecture. When someone asked a question about Elon's Mars timeline, she didn't hesitate to answer. "Honestly, I think Mr. Musk's timeline is too optimistic," she said. "The technology is promising, but his schedules rarely account for necessary safety testing." A few people in the crowd noticed Elon standing nearby and began to whisper. Olivia turned and saw him. Instead of looking embarrassed, she smiled. "Speak thou of the devil. Perhaps Mr. Musk would like to defend his timeline?" The crowd parted as Elon approached. Up close, he could see Olivia was in her late 30s, with bright, intelligent eyes behind purple-framed glasses. "You think my Mars timeline is unrealistic?" he asked. "I think it's ambitious," she replied. "There's a difference. And your solution is the thrust vectoring adjustment?" She nodded. "Among other things. Your engineers are brilliant, but sometimes fresh eyes help." "Fresh NASA eyes?" Elon raised an eyebrow. Olivia laughed. "We're not enemies, Mr. Musk. We all want the same thing, humans on Mars. We just have different approaches." Something about her directness intrigued him. Unlike most people, she didn't seem impressed by his wealth or status. "Would you like to continue this discussion over coffee?" Elon asked suddenly. Olivia looked surprised. "Now? Unless you're busy." She checked her watch. "I promised my cousin I'd stay for another hour." "Tomorrow then," Elon pressed. "I'd like to hear more about your ideas." Mira was giving him a warning look, but Elon ignored her. Olivia seemed suspicious. "Why would Elon Musk want to have coffee with me?" "I value smart people who aren't afraid to speak their mind," Elon said truthfully. After a moment's consideration, Olivia nodded. "All right, but I can't do coffee. I have to be at Johnson Space Center tomorrow." "What about a tour of Starbase instead?" Elon offered. "I'm flying to Boca Chica in the morning." Olivia's eyes widened. Starbase was SpaceX's launch facility in South Texas, and getting a personal tour from Elon Musk himself was an opportunity few could refuse. "That would be..." She hesitated, then smiled. "Amazing, actually." "Great." Elon handed her his personal card. "My assistant will arrange everything." As he walked away, Mira whispered, "Is she the one?" Elon nodded. "She's perfect, smart, direct, and she meets the physical requirements of the bet." "You're going to pretend to fall in love with a woman because of a drunken bet," Mira said flatly. "This is a new low, even for you." "It's just business," Elon insisted. 3 months, $50 million, and it's done. "And how exactly are you going to convince her to marry you after one tour?" Elon smiled confidently. "I'm very persuasive." The next morning, Elon's private jet landed at Starbase with Olivia on board. She had been quiet during most of the flight, staring out the window at the clouds. "Have you ever been to Starbase before?" Elon asked. Olivia shook her head. "I've seen the launches online, but never in person." "You're in for a treat then." Hazoo. They walked through the facility. Elon was impressed by Olivia's technical knowledge. She asked insightful questions about the Starship prototypes and offered suggestions that actually made sense. "You know," Elon said as they examined a Raptor engine, "you'd make a good addition to our team." Olivia smiled. "I'm happy at NASA. Thanks, we pay better." It's not always about money, Mr. Musk. Call me Elon, please. After touring the main buildings, they had lunch in a private room overlooking the launch pad. As they ate, Elon studied Olivia. She wasn't his usual type, but there was something appealing about her confidence and intelligence. "So," Elon said, setting down his fork, "I have a proposition for you." Olivia looked up. "A job offer after all?" "Not exactly." Elon took a deep breath. "What would you say to a temporary marriage arrangement?" Olivia stared at him. "Excuse me?" "A business arrangement," Elon continued. 3 months as my wife, with generous compensation." Olivia's face flushed. "Is this some kind of joke?" "I'm completely serious." She stood up, her lunch forgotten. "You brought me here to proposition me? Because what? You think I'd be desperate enough to agree? Because of how I look? That's not what I... Save it." Olivia grabbed her bag. "I don't know what game you're playing, Mr. Musk, but I'm not interested in being part of it." She stormed out, leaving Elon sitting alone. For the first time, he wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. That night, in her Houston apartment, Olivia's phone rang. It was her sister. "Mom's tests came back," her sister said, voice breaking. "The cancer's spread. Insurance won't cover the treatment she needs." After the call, Olivia sat in silence, staring at Elon's business card on her coffee table. Slowly, she picked up her phone and dialed the number, hating herself for what she was about to do. "Hello?" Elon's voice sounded surprised when he answered. Olivia took a deep breath. "It's Olivia Chen, from Today." "I didn't expect to hear from you so soon," he said. Olivia stared out her apartment window at the Houston skyline. "I need to understand exactly what you're proposing." There was a pause before Elon replied, "Can we meet in person to discuss it?" "No," Olivia said firmly. "I want to hear it now, over the phone, so I can hang up when I inevitably get disgusted." Elon laughed, but quickly stopped when she didn't join in. "Fair enough," he said. "Here's the deal. I need a wife for 3 months, a temporary marriage. In return, I'm prepared to offer $5 million. Olivia nearly dropped her phone. $5 million? Why would you? "I have my reasons," Elon cut in. "Business reasons I'd rather not get into. So I'd be, what, arm candy? A trophy wife?" The words tasted bitter in her mouth. "More like a partner for public appearances," Elon said. "You're smart, articulate, and not easily impressed by money. That's rare in my world." Olivia closed her eyes, thinking of her mother's medical bills. The experimental treatment she needed cost over $1 million with no guarantee of success. But without it, the doctors gave her 6 months. "Let's say I consider this insane proposal," Olivia said carefully. "I'd have conditions." "I'm listening." "First, I would need half the money up front before any wedding." "Done," Elon said without hesitation. "Second, our arrangement stays between us. To the public, it has to look real." "That was already my plan." Olivia took another deep breath. "Third, I want a job at SpaceX after the 3 months are up. A real job based on my qualifications, not charity." There was a pause. "You'd leave NASA?" "For the right opportunity, yes," Olivia admitted. After today's humiliation, she wasn't sure she could face her colleagues if this became public anyway. "Agreed," Elon said. "Anything else?" "Separate bedrooms," Olivia added quickly. "This is strictly business." "Of course." Olivia closed her eyes, hardly believing what she was about to say. "Then I accept your offer, Mr. Musk. Call me Elon. We are getting married, after all." She could hear the smile in his voice. "When do you want to do this?" she asked. "How's Christmas Eve?" Olivia sat up straight. That's only 2 days away. I'm on a tight schedule, Elon explained. We'll have a small ceremony at my house in Austin. My lawyer will bring the paperwork tomorrow. After hanging up, Olivia sat in stunned silence. What had she just agreed to? $5 million to pretend to be Elon Musk's wife for 3 months. It felt surreal. She called her best friend Riley. You did what? Riley's voice practically shattered Olivia's eardrum. I know it sounds crazy. Crazy? Liv, it sounds like the plot of a bad movie. Marry Elon Musk for money? Have you lost your mind? It's for Mom, Olivia explained quietly. You know she needs that treatment. Riley's tone softened. Oh, Liv, I understand wanting to help your mom, but there has to be another way. If you can think of a way to get $5 million in 2 days, I'm all ears. The next morning, Elon's lawyer arrived at Olivia's apartment with a stack of papers. This is the prenuptial agreement, the lawyer explained. It guarantees your payment terms and includes extensive confidentiality clauses. Olivia read every word before signing. The document stated that $2.5 million would be transferred to her account immediately, with the remainder paid after 3 months of marriage. Mr. Musk has also added this, the lawyer said, sliding over another document. It was a contract for a senior engineering position at SpaceX to begin after their divorce. He doesn't waste time, Olivia murmured. Never has, the lawyer agreed. A car will pick you up tomorrow morning to take you to Austin. Pack for at least a week. After the lawyer left, Olivia called her sister. I have good news, Olivia said. I can pay for Mom's treatment. What? How? I got a job offer with a signing bonus. The lie tasted sour. That's amazing, Liv. Mom will be so happy. Olivia forced a smile into her voice. Tell her I'll visit after Christmas. The next morning, Olivia checked her bank account. There it was, $2,500,000. She immediately transferred most of it to her sister for their mother's treatment, keeping just enough to pay off her student loans and apartment lease. A sleek black Tesla arrived precisely at 9 a.m. The driver loaded her 2 suitcases into the trunk without comment. During the 3-hour drive to Austin, Olivia tried to calm her nerves. What was she doing? Marrying a billionaire she barely knew, all for money. But then she thought of her mother, and her resolve strengthened. The car pulled up to an enormous modern house perched on a hill overlooking Austin. Meera Patel was waiting at the door. Ms. Chen, welcome, Meera said formally. I'm Meera, Mr. Musk's personal assistant. Call me Olivia, please. Meera led her through the house to a guest suite. You can freshen up here. The ceremony is at 6 p.m. Ceremony? Olivia asked. I thought we'd just signed papers. Mr. Musk has arranged a small wedding. His children will be attending. Olivia felt a wave of panic. His children? But this isn't real. Meera finished for her, lowering her voice. I'm aware of the arrangement, but to everyone else, including his family, this is a real wedding. He's invited about 20 guests. After Meera left, Olivia sat on the bed, overwhelmed. She hadn't expected guests or children. How was she supposed to face Elon's family knowing this was all fake? A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. It was Elon. How are you settling in? He asked. You didn't tell me your children would be here, Olivia said. Elon shrugged. It would look strange if they weren't. What have you told them about? Me? That I met you at the SpaceX event and we hit it off. He smiled. Love at first sight. Olivia crossed her arms. And they believed that? I've done more impulsive things. He handed her a small box. This is for you. Inside was a stunning diamond ring. Simple, but elegant. "I need to make something clear," Olivia said, closing the box without trying it on. "I'm doing this for my mother. She has cancer, and this money is paying for her treatment." Elon's expression softened slightly. "I didn't know." "No reason you should," Olivia replied. "But I want you to understand. I'm not some gold digger. I never thought you were." Their eyes met for a moment before Olivia looked away. "I should get ready," she said. Elon nodded and headed for the door. He paused with his hand on the doorknob. "For what it's worth, Olivia, I think you're going to make a convincing wife." As he closed the door, Olivia whispered to herself, "This is the strangest day of my life." Little did she know, it was about to get much stranger. At exactly 5:30 p.m., Mira knocked on Olivia's door. "Everyone's arriving," she said. "Are you ready?" Olivia stood in front of the mirror in a simple white dress she'd found hanging in the closet. It fit perfectly, making her wonder how Elon knew her size. "As ready as I'll ever be," Olivia replied, slipping on the diamond ring. Mira's expression softened. "For what it's worth, you look beautiful." "Thank you," Olivia said, surprised by the sincerity in Mira's voice. They walked through the house, to a back garden decorated with tiny white lights and poinsettias. About 20 people milled around, drinking champagne and chatting. A small arch covered in winter roses stood at the end of an improvised aisle. Olivia froze at the doorway. "I can't do this." "Yes, you can," Mira whispered firmly. "Just smile and remember why you're here." "Mom," Olivia thought. "I'm doing this for Mom." She spotted Elon talking to a group of children who must be his kids. When he saw her, he excused himself and walked over. "You look nice," he said. "Such a romantic," Olivia replied with a nervous laugh. Elon smiled. "Ready to meet the family?" Before she could answer, he led her to the group of children. 6 pairs of curious eyes studied her. "Everyone, this is Olivia," Elon said. "Olivia, these are my children." He introduced them one by one. The older ones were polite but reserved. The youngest, a little girl of about 4, tugged on Olivia's dress. "Are you going to be our new mommy?" she asked. Olivia knelt down. "I'm going to be your dad's wife, but you can just call me Olivia, okay?" The little girl nodded. "You don't look like Daddy's other girlfriends." "All right, that's enough," Elon cut in, looking slightly embarrassed. "Time to start." As Elon walked to the arch, his teenage son pulled Olivia aside. "This is pretty sudden," he said suspiciously. "Your father moves fast when he knows what he wants," Olivia replied carefully. "And what do you want?" Olivia met his gaze. "A chance to be happy." It wasn't entirely a lie. Happiness for her mother. At least, the ceremony was brief. A judge Elon knew performed the service, and they exchanged simple vows and rings. When the judge said, "You may kiss the bride," Olivia's heart raced as Elon leaned in for a quick, chaste kiss on the lips. It was done. She was now, legally, Mrs. Elon Musk. During the small reception, Olivia met Elon's friends and business associates. She could tell they were curious about her, this unknown woman Elon had suddenly married. "So, how did you two meet?" asked one of Elon's Tesla executives. "At a SpaceX event," Olivia answered. "I told him his Mars timeline was unrealistic." The man laughed. "And you survived? Most people who criticize Elon get fired, not married." "I respect honesty," Elon said, appearing beside her with 2 glasses of champagne. He handed one to Olivia. "It's rare in my world." As the evening progressed, Olivia began to relax slightly. No one seemed to suspect their marriage was anything but genuine, if sudden. Then Riley arrived. "You invited my friend?" Olivia whispered. "To Elon." "Mira suggested it would look strange if you had no guests," Elon explained. Riley rushed over and hugged Olivia tightly. "I still think you're crazy," she whispered, "but I wasn't going to miss this." "Thanks for coming," Olivia said, genuinely grateful. "So, this is real," Riley said, eyeing Elon. "You actually married a billionaire after knowing him for 3 days." Elon smiled and extended his hand. "You must be Riley. Olivia's told me so much about you." "Funny. She barely mentioned you until yesterday," Riley replied coolly. "Whirlwind, romance," Elon said unfazed. "When you know, you know." Riley hummed skeptically. Fortunately, they were interrupted by the photographer Elon had hired. "Time for some wedding photos," he announced. As they posed under the arch, Elon whispered, "Your friend doesn't like me." "She's protective," Olivia replied. "Good. You need someone looking out for you." The comment surprised Olivia. Did Elon Musk actually care about her well-being? Just then, the youngest child ran up and inserted herself between them for the photo. Olivia lifted the little girl up, and they all smiled for the camera. It looked surprisingly real. Later, as guests began to leave, Olivia overheard 2 women talking. "I can't believe he married her," one whispered. "She's so big." "Must be her personality," the other replied with a smirk. Olivia's cheeks burned, but she kept her head high. She'd faced worse comments all her life. By midnight, everyone had gone except Riley, who was helping Olivia move her things to the master suite. "So, separate bedrooms?" Riley asked, nodding toward the door to what was clearly Elon's personal space. "He's taking another room," Olivia explained. "This is just for show." Riley sat on the bed. "I still can't believe this is happening. You, married to Elon Musk." "For 3 months," Olivia reminded her. "Then back to normal life. With Mom healthy, hopefully. And $5 million richer," Riley added. "Most of it's going to Mom's treatment." Riley hugged her. "You're a good daughter, but promise me you'll be careful. Men like him are used to getting what they want." After Riley left, Olivia sat alone in the massive bedroom. She wandered to the window, looking out at the twinkling lights of Austin below. A knock at the door startled her. It was Elon, now changed into jeans and a t-shirt. "Just checking if you need anything," he said. "I'm fine, thanks," Olivia replied. Elon lingered in the doorway. "The media's got hold of the story. It's trending on social media." Olivia tensed. "Already?" One of the guests must have tipped them off. He showed her his phone. The headline read, "Breaking. Elon Musk marries unknown woman in surprise Christmas Eve ceremony." Below was a blurry photo someone had taken of them during the ceremony. The comments were already flooding in, many of them cruel jokes about her appearance. "I should have warned you," Elon said. "The public scrutiny can be intense." "I can handle it," Olivia said, though her stomach tightened reading the comments. Elon took back his phone. "We'll make a statement tomorrow. Just the facts. We met, fell in love, got married. Nothing else." "Right." The cover story. An awkward silence fell between them. "Well, good night," Elon said finally. "Mrs. Musk." The title sounded strange to Olivia's ears. As Elon walked away, she called after him. "Why me?" "Really? There must be 1,000 women who would marry you for 3 months. No questions asked. Why pick someone like me?" Elon paused. "Maybe I wanted someone who would ask questions." With that cryptic answer, he left, closing the door behind him. Olivia lay in bed that night, unable to sleep. What had she gotten herself into? Tomorrow, the whole world would know her name. They would judge her, mock her, scrutinize her every move. But somewhere in a Houston hospital, her mother would be starting the treatment that might save her life. For that, Olivia could endure anything, even being Elon Musk's temporary wife. Olivia woke to the sound of her phone buzzing nonstop. Texts, calls, and notifications poured in from people she hadn't heard from in years. "I see you've discovered your new popularity," Elon said, entering with a coffee mug. He was already dressed. In a casual button-up and jeans, Olivia sat up, clutching the blankets. "Don't you knock?" "Sorry. Old habits." He set the coffee on the nightstand. "You might want to avoid social media today." "That bad?" "Worse," Elon admitted. "But I've seen it before. It'll blow over once something else happens." Olivia grabbed her phone and scrolled through the headlines. Elon Musk's mystery bride. Who is she? Billionaire's Christmas shocker. Musk marries NASA engineer. Twitter reacts to Elon Musk's plus-size wife. The last one made her wince. "Your publicist issued a statement," Elon said. "Short and sweet. We met, fell in love, got married. End of story." "I have a publicist?" "You do now." Elon checked his watch. "I have a meeting in an hour. There's a Tesla event tonight in downtown Austin. As my wife, you're expected to attend." Olivia nearly choked on her coffee. "Already? We've been married less than a day." "Welcome to my world," Elon said. "A stylist will be here at noon with options for you to wear." After he left, Olivia called her sister. "Have you seen the news?" her sister asked immediately. "Hard to miss," Olivia replied. "Why didn't you tell me you were dating Elon Musk? Or that you were getting married?" Olivia sighed. "It happened fast. How's Mom?" "Shocked, but happy for you. Her treatment starts tomorrow." That was all that mattered, Olivia reminded herself. The stylist arrived precisely at noon with racks of designer clothes. "Mr. Musk requested options that make you feel comfortable and confident," the woman said, eyeing Olivia professionally. "No need to change your style completely." Olivia appreciated the sentiment, even if it was probably Mira's doing rather than Elon's. They selected a deep purple evening dress with a matching jacket for the Tesla event. When Olivia worried about the price, the stylist waved her concern away. "It's already paid for. All of these are yours to keep." By evening, Olivia was dressed and ready, though her stomach was in knots. A sleek Tesla waited to take them to the event. "Nervous?" Elon asked as they rode. "Terrified," Olivia admitted. "I've never been good with crowds." "Just smile and stay close to me," Elon said. "And if anyone asks about our whirlwind romance, let me do the talking." The event was held at a luxury hotel in downtown Austin. As soon as they arrived, camera flashes nearly blinded Olivia. Reporters shouted questions. "Elon, over here. When did you meet?" "Olivia, how does it feel to be Mrs. Musk? Was it love at first sight?" Elon smiled for the cameras, his arm around Olivia's waist, guiding her inside. He was clearly in his element. The ballroom was filled with Tesla executives, investors, and celebrities. All eyes turned to them as they entered. "Deep breath," Elon whispered. "You're doing great." A tall man approached them. "Elon, congratulations on the marriage. And this must be the lucky lady." "Mark, meet my wife, Olivia," Elon said. "Olivia, this is Mark Cuban." Olivia shook Mark's hand, noticing an odd look pass between the two men. Was this the same Mark from Elon's Christmas party? The one Mira had mentioned? Pleasure to meet you, Mark said warmly. I hope married life is treating you well so far. It's certainly not boring, Olivia replied. Throughout the evening, Olivia met dozens of people whose names she immediately forgot. Most were politely curious, though she caught a few pitying looks from women and confused glances from men. During dinner, Olivia found herself seated next to a Tesla board member who asked about her background. To her surprise, he seemed genuinely interested in her NASA work. Your propulsion efficiency theories could have applications for our energy storage systems, he said. You should talk to our R&D team. Across the table, Elon was watching their conversation with an unreadable expression. After dinner came speeches. When Elon took the stage to discuss Tesla's latest innovations, Olivia was impressed by his knowledge and vision, despite his tendency to make overly optimistic promises. As applause erupted after his speech, a woman beside Olivia muttered, "I don't get it. What does he see in her?" Her companion replied, "Maybe she's a genius in bed." Olivia's cheeks burned, but she kept her eyes forward, pretending not to hear. Later, as they prepared to leave, a journalist approached. "Mrs. Musk, quick question for Forbes. What attracted you to your husband? Besides the obvious billions, of course." Before Olivia could respond, Elon stepped in. "My wife doesn't give interviews without prior arrangement." "I wasn't asking you, Mr. Musk," the reporter said. "Surely your new bride can speak for herself. Or did you just marry her for her looks, rather than her mind?" The sarcasm in his voice was unmistakable. Several people nearby fell silent, watching. Olivia straightened her shoulders. "Actually, I can speak for myself. What attracted me to Elon wasn't his money or fame. It was watching him work, seeing someone whose mind never stops trying to solve the next big problem. That kind of passion is rare, even at NASA." The reporter looked surprised. "And the whirlwind romance? You've known each other, what, a week?" "When it's right, you know," Olivia said, repeating Elon's line from the wedding. "Now, if you'll excuse us, it's been a long day." As they walked away, Elon squeezed her hand. "Well done." In the car, Olivia slumped in exhaustion. "How do you do this every day?" "You get used to it," Elon said. "You were impressive in there. Even that reporter was won over." "I doubt it. Did you hear what people were saying?" Elon's expression hardened. "I heard. They think I trapped you somehow, or that I'm some kind of fetish for you." Olivia stared out the window. "No one believes you would actually be interested in someone who looks like me. Does that bother you? Shouldn't it bother you? It's your reputation they're questioning." Elon shrugged. "My reputation has survived worse." When they arrived home, Olivia headed straight for her room, eager to get out of her dress and escape the day. "Olivia," Elon called after her. "You did well tonight. Thank you." She turned, surprised by his sincerity. "You're welcome. Though your crowd is exhausting." "They're not my crowd, just people who want something from me." There was a weariness in his voice she hadn't noticed before. As Olivia changed into comfortable clothes, her phone buzzed with a text from Riley. "You're all over the internet. People are being awful. You okay?" Olivia texted back. "Surviving. One day down, 89 to go." She was about to turn off her light when there was a knock at her door. It was Mira. "Mr. Musk asked me to give you this," she said, handing over a tablet. "He thought you might want to see it." On the screen was a tech blog with the headline, "Elon Musk's new wife stuns Tesla crowd with Mars knowledge." The article praised Olivia's intelligence and technical expertise, noting how she had impressed several Tesla executives with her ideas. There wasn't a single mention of her appearance. "He had this published?" Olivia asked. Mira shook her head. It's genuine. The tech world is more interested in your brain than your dress size. As Mira left, Olivia scrolled through the article again. For the first time since this crazy arrangement began, she felt a small glimmer of hope. Maybe the next 3 months wouldn't be pure torture after all. The next week passed in a blur. Olivia moved into Elon's Austin home permanently, setting up her room with the few personal items she'd brought from Houston. One evening, she found Elon in his home office, surrounded by papers and multiple computer screens. He was muttering to himself as he scribbled equations on a whiteboard. "Working late?" Olivia asked from the doorway. Elon looked up, seeming surprised to see her. "Is it late?" "Almost midnight." He rubbed his eyes. "Lost track of time. I have a presentation for SpaceX investors tomorrow, and the language is too technical." Olivia stepped into the office. "May I see?" Elon handed her a tablet with his presentation. Olivia scrolled through it, shaking her head. "No wonder you're worried. This would confuse most investors." "That's what I thought," Elon sighed. "Mind if I help? At NASA, I often had to explain complex concepts to non-technical people." Elon gestured to a chair. "Be my guest." For the next hour, they worked side by side, simplifying complex terms and adding clear visuals. Olivia suggested breaking down the technical jargon to a 5th-grade reading level. "If a 10-year-old can understand it, anyone can," she explained. "It doesn't mean dumbing it down, just making it accessible." By the time they finished, the presentation was clearer and more compelling. "This is much better," Elon admitted. "Thank you. Happy to help." Olivia stood to leave. "You should get some sleep." "I usually work through the night." "That's not healthy," Olivia said before she could stop herself. Elon raised an eyebrow. "Worried about me, Mrs. Musk?" "Just looking after my investment," she replied with a small smile. "If you collapse from exhaustion, I don't get the rest of my money." Elon actually laughed. "Fair point. I'll try to get a few hours of sleep." As Olivia turned to leave, he added, "Would you like to come to the presentation tomorrow? Your input could be valuable." Surprised by the invitation, Olivia nodded. "I'd like that." The next day, Olivia sat in on the SpaceX investor meeting. When questions arose about the propulsion system, Elon unexpectedly turned to her. "My wife is actually an expert in this area. Olivia, would you mind explaining?" All eyes turned to her. Taking a deep breath, Olivia explained the complex system in simple terms, using analogies that made the concept clear to everyone. Afterward, several investors approached her, impressed by her knowledge. One woman, a venture capitalist named Janet Chen, no relation, pulled her aside. "It's refreshing to see someone who can translate these concepts so clearly," Janet said. "Most tech people get lost in the details." "That's actually Olivia's specialty," Elon said, joining them. "Making complex ideas simple." The pride in his voice surprised Olivia. Was he actually impressed by her, or just playing the role of supportive husband? That evening, they shared dinner at home for the first time. Usually, Elon ate at his desk or in meetings, but tonight he suggested they use the dining room. The presentation was a success, he said, pouring wine for both of them. "We secured all the funding we needed. I'm glad I could help." "You did, more than help. Your explanations were better than mine." Olivia studied him over her glass. "Can I ask you something?" "Depends on the question," Elon replied cautiously. "Why do you work so much? You already have more money than you could spend in several lifetimes." Elon considered her question. "It's not about the money. It's about building a better future." "For who?" "For humanity," he said simply. "Everything I do, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink. It's all about ensuring humans become a multi-planetary species with sustainable energy. And that's your responsibility, because I can do it, Elon said. If you had the ability to help humanity survive and thrive, wouldn't you feel obligated to try? Olivia was surprised by his sincerity. The media often portrayed him as egotistical, but this seemed like genuine conviction. I suppose I would, she admitted. Their conversation continued late into the evening, moving from space travel to artificial intelligence to climate change. Despite their different perspectives, Olivia found herself enjoying the intellectual challenge of debating with him. As days turned into weeks, they fell into a routine. They kept separate bedrooms but spent evenings talking in his office or the living room. Elon worked constantly, but increasingly sought her input on presentations and plans. On weekends, Olivia visited her mother in Houston. The treatment was difficult, but doctors were cautiously optimistic. "Your new husband hasn't come with you yet," her mother noted during one visit. "He's busy," Olivia said quickly. Her mother gave her a knowing look. "Is everything okay with you two?" "It's fine, Mom. Just new. He seems like a complicated man." Olivia smiled slightly. "That's an understatement." When she returned to Austin, that Sunday, she found Elon's children visiting. The youngest one ran to her as soon as she entered. "Olivia, you're back!" the little girl cried, hugging her legs. Surprised by the warm welcome, Olivia knelt down. "Did you miss me?" Daddy said. "You were visiting your mommy because she's sick. Is she better now?" "A little better, yes." Olivia glanced up to see Elon watching them from the doorway. "Did you have fun with your dad this weekend?" The little girl frowned. "He was working. But he promised we could make cookies when you got home." Olivia raised an eyebrow at Elon, who looked slightly embarrassed. "I might have mentioned you're a good baker," he admitted. "Based on what evidence?" Olivia laughed. "You said you bake when you're stressed. With everything going on, I assumed you must be excellent by now." The children gathered in the kitchen as Olivia searched for ingredients. To her surprise, the pantry was fully stocked for baking. "Did you plan this?" she asked Elon. "Mira might have gone shopping," he said with a small smile. For the next hour, Olivia helped the children make chocolate chip cookies. Even the teenagers joined in, though they pretended to be too cool to care. Elon watched from the sidelines, occasionally checking his phone, but mostly present. When the cookies were done, they all sat around the kitchen island, eating warm cookies and drinking milk. It felt strangely normal. "You're much nicer than Dad's last girlfriend," one of the teenagers said suddenly. "Thanks, I think," Olivia replied. "She means you don't ignore us," another child explained. "The others just wanted to be around Dad." Elon cleared his throat uncomfortably. "That's enough family sharing for today." Later, after the children had gone to their rooms, Elon found Olivia cleaning up the kitchen. "Thank you for that," he said. "They had fun." "So did I," Olivia admitted. "They're great kids." "They like you." Elon leaned against the counter. "It's been a while since they've had someone maternal around." The word hung in the air between them, a reminder that this arrangement was temporary. "I'm not trying to replace anyone," Olivia said carefully. "I know, but it's nice for them to have someone who sees them, not just me." As he said goodnight and headed to his office to work, Olivia realized something unsettling. She was starting to enjoy being part of this strange family. And that was dangerous, because in less than 2 months, it would all be over. January turned to February, and with it came Valentine's Day. Olivia hadn't expected anything. Their arrangement was strictly business after all. But when she woke, that morning, She found a small box outside her door with a note. For public appearances today. Inside was a beautiful heart-shaped pendant. Not too flashy, but definitely expensive. Thoughtful, in a calculated sort of way. Olivia put it on before heading downstairs, where she found Elon drinking coffee and reading something on his tablet. "Thank you for the necklace," she said, touching it lightly. "It's lovely." Elon looked up. It seemed appropriate for the day. "We're having dinner with some Tesla board members tonight." "Of course we are," Olivia said, trying to hide her disappointment. She hadn't expected romance, but his business-like approach still stung. "Is something wrong?" Elon asked, noticing her expression. "No, everything's fine," she replied quickly. Elon studied her for a moment. "You wanted something more personal for Valentine's Day." It wasn't a question. Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "I didn't expect anything," she said honestly. "This isn't a real marriage." "No, but..." Elon looked uncomfortable. "I could have been more thoughtful." Before Olivia could respond, his phone buzzed. "I have to take this," he said, stepping out of the room. Olivia sighed. Every time they started to have a real conversation, work interrupted. That afternoon, she received a call from her sister. "Mom's not responding to the treatment as well as we hoped," her sister said, voice tight with worry. "The doctors want to try something more aggressive." "I'll come right away," Olivia said, already packing a bag. She left a note for Elon explaining the situation and headed to Houston. At the hospital, her mother looked smaller and frailer than before, her skin sallow against the white sheets. "There's my famous daughter," her mother said weakly. "I saw you in a magazine yesterday. You looked beautiful." Olivia squeezed her hand. "How are you feeling?" "Like I've been hit by a truck," her mother admitted. "But I'm fighting." The doctors explained that while the cancer wasn't growing, it wasn't shrinking either. They wanted to try a more experimental approach. "It's riskier," the oncologist explained, "but it could be more effective. Insurance definitely won't cover this one." "Money isn't an issue," Olivia assured them. "Do whatever you need to do." That night, she slept in the hospital room's uncomfortable chair, watching her mother's chest rise and fall. She had completely forgotten about the Valentine's dinner with the Tesla board. Around midnight, her phone buzzed with a text from Elon. "How's your mother? Do you need anything?" The simple message brought unexpected tears to her eyes. She texted back, "Not good. Staying at hospital tonight." 3 dots appeared as he typed, disappeared, then appeared again. "I can come to Houston tomorrow if you need support." Olivia stared at the message in surprise. Was this part of the act, or did he actually care? "That's not necessary," she replied. "But thank you." The next morning, a delivery person arrived with a care package. Comfortable clothes for Olivia, her favorite books from home, and a soft blanket for her mother. The note read simply, "Mira thought these might help." Elon himself showed up the following day. He looked out of place in the hospital hallway, tall and awkward in his casual clothes, drawing stares from staff who recognized him. "You didn't need to come," Olivia said when she saw him. "I know," he replied, "but I thought, well, this is what a husband would do." He had brought his laptop and set up in the corner of the room, working quietly while Olivia sat with her mother. Occasionally, he would step out to take calls, but he always returned. That evening, when her mother was sleeping, they walked to the hospital cafeteria for coffee. "The board meeting went well," Elon said. "Janet Chen asked about you." "I'm sorry. I missed it." "Don't be. This is more important." He hesitated. "I spoke with your mother's doctors. I hope you don't mind." Olivia tensed. "What did they say?" They're optimistic about the new treatment, but it'll be difficult. Elon fidgeted with his coffee cup. I've arranged for a specialist from Sweden to consult on her case. He's had success. With similar situations, Olivia stared at him. You didn't have to do that. I know, Elon said simply. Back in her mother's room, Olivia watched as Elon pulled out his tablet and began showing her mother pictures of Starship launches. To her surprise, her normally serious mother was laughing at his awkward jokes. Your husband is quite the storyteller, her mother said when Elon stepped out to take a call. He's full of surprises, Olivia replied carefully. Her mother reached for her hand. He cares about you, you know? Olivia looked away. It's complicated, Mom. Love always is, her mother said, but I see how he looks at you. Olivia didn't correct her mother's assumption. What would be the point? In less than 2 months, the marriage would be over, and her mother never needed to know it had been a business arrangement. They stayed in Houston for 3 days. Elon worked remotely, occasionally leaving for video conferences, but always returning. He slept in a chair opposite Olivia's, his long frame folded uncomfortably. On the 3rd night, Olivia woke to find him watching a rocket launch video with the sound off, his face illuminated by the screen's blue light. You should go back to Austin, she said softly. You have companies to run. They can survive a few days without me, he replied. Surprisingly, something had changed between them, but Olivia couldn't quite identify what it was. When they finally returned to Austin, the house felt different, more like a shared home than his space that she was temporarily occupying. One evening the following week, Olivia was scrolling through social media when she came across a particularly cruel meme about her weight, comparing her to Elon's ex-girlfriends. The comments were even worse. She tried to brush it off, but tears stung her eyes. Usually, she had thicker skin, but the stress of her mother's illness and the strange limbo of her marriage had worn her down. Elon found her like that, sitting in the dark with tears on her cheeks. What's wrong? He asked, alarmed. Olivia quickly wiped her face. Nothing. Just tired. He sat beside her and took the phone from her hand, seeing the cruel comments on the screen. His expression hardened. These people are idiots, he said flatly. They're just saying what everyone thinks, Olivia replied. Why would Elon Musk choose someone who looks like me? Stop, Elon said firmly. You're brilliant, kind, and more genuine than anyone I've met in years. Don't let these keyboard warriors make you doubt yourself. Olivia looked at him in surprise. That almost sounded sincere. It was, he said, looking uncomfortable with the admission. An awkward silence fell between them, neither sure what to say next. We should work on something, Elon said suddenly. Take your mind off this nonsense. Work? It's almost midnight. Best time for new ideas. He stood, extending his hand to her. I've been thinking about an educational program for underserved schools, making space science accessible to kids who might not otherwise get exposure. Olivia took his hand and let him pull her up. That actually sounds worthwhile. I thought you'd approve, he said with a small smile. And it needs your talent for making complex ideas simple. As they headed to his office to brainstorm, Olivia realized he had successfully distracted her from her sadness. Whether that was his genuine intention or just another calculated move, she wasn't sure. But for the first time, she was beginning to wonder if there might be more to Elon Musk than the public persona. And that was the most dangerous thought of all. The educational program became their shared passion over the next few weeks. They called it Star Kids, designed to make space science accessible to children in underserved communities. The goal is to inspire the next generation of engineers and astronauts, Elon explained during a planning session in his home office, especially those who might not see themselves in STEM fields. Olivia nodded, adding notes to her tablet. We should focus on hands-on activities. Kids learn better by doing than by listening. They worked well together. Elon provided the vision and resources, while Olivia developed the curriculum, breaking down complex concepts into activities children could understand. For once, his tendency to work through the night aligned perfectly with her own intense focus. One night, as they worked side by side, Olivia glanced over to find Elon watching her instead of his screen. "What?" she asked, suddenly self-conscious. "Nothing," he said, looking away quickly. "Just thinking." "About what?" Elon hesitated. "You're different from what I expected. How so?" "You're not impressed by all this," he gestured around his expansive home office. "The money, the companies, the fame. Most people change around me." Olivia shrugged. "I'm impressed by the work, not the wealth. There's a difference." A small smile played at his lips. "That's refreshing." As the program took shape, they scheduled a pilot at an elementary school in East Austin, an area with limited resources but bright, curious children. The morning of the pilot, Olivia was a bundle of nerves. She had created interactive stations about rocket propulsion, Mars habitats, and spacesuits, all using everyday materials children could relate to. "What if they hate it?" she fretted as they drove to the school. "They won't," Elon said confidently. "And if something doesn't work, we'll fix it. That's how engineering works, right?" His calm pragmatism steadied her. She realized it was the same approach he used when rockets exploded during testing. Learn, adjust, try again. The school welcomed them enthusiastically, though Olivia noticed the principal seemed more excited about Elon's presence than the program itself. Still, once the children arrived, everything changed. 20 fifth graders circled the stations, their eyes wide with curiosity. Olivia led them through experiments while Elon answered their endless questions. The children were particularly fascinated by the miniature rocket launchers they built from plastic bottles and baking soda. "You're really good with kids," Olivia remarked during a break, watching as Elon patiently explained orbital mechanics to a small girl with bright beads in her hair. "I've had practice," he replied. 6 children, remember? Still, I didn't expect this." She gestured to where he sat cross-legged on the floor, completely engaged with the students. Elon looked up at her. "What did you expect?" "I don't know. Someone more removed, more billionaire-like." He laughed, a genuine sound that Olivia had rarely heard. "Sorry to disappoint." "I didn't say I was disappointed," she said softly. Their eyes met for a moment, before a boy tugged on Elon's sleeve with another question. The pilot was a success. The teachers reported that the children couldn't stop talking about space for days afterward, and several students declared they wanted to be engineers or astronauts. Energized by the positive response, Elon and Olivia expanded the program. They scheduled sessions at more schools and began developing take-home kits for students without access to science equipment. Working on Star Kids gave them a shared purpose that went beyond their arrangement. Olivia found herself looking forward to their planning sessions, enjoying the way Elon's mind worked when he was focused on solving a problem rather than making money. "We should present this at the education conference next month," Elon suggested one evening as they refined the curriculum. "You want to present together?" Olivia asked, surprised. "Why not? It's your program as much as mine. More so, really." It was true. While Elon had provided the initial idea and resources, Olivia had shaped the program into something meaningful. For the first time in her career, she had complete creative control, and the budget to make it happen. As they prepared for the conference, Olivia realized they had fallen into an easy rhythm together. Their conversations flowed naturally, often extending late into the night. They still maintained separate bedrooms, but the line between their business arrangement and genuine friendship had begun to blur. One weekend, as Olivia packed for another hospital visit, Elon appeared in her doorway. "How's your mother doing? With the new specialist?" "Better," Olivia said, grateful for his interest. "The treatment is difficult, but there are signs it's working." "Good." Elon shifted uncomfortably. "Would you mind if I joined you this weekend? I could help present the Star Kids proposal to the hospital's pediatric ward while we're there." Olivia smiled. "That would be nice, actually." At the hospital, Elon charmed the pediatric staff with his vision for bringing Star Kids activities to long-term patients. Meanwhile, Olivia sat with her mother, who looked stronger than during her last visit. "Your husband seems different from how he appears on TV," her mother observed. "He's complicated," Olivia replied. "Most worthwhile people are." Her mother squeezed her hand. "I see how you look at him, you know?" Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "Mom, it's okay to fall in love with your own husband, dear." The words stayed with Olivia. Was that what was happening? No, she told herself firmly. She was just getting caught up in the act. Later that evening, Elon received a call that required his immediate attention. He apologized and headed to a quiet corner of the hospital cafeteria with his laptop. Olivia brought him coffee an hour later, finding him still deeply focused on his screen. "Crisis averted?" she asked, setting the cup beside him. "Not exactly." He rubbed his eyes tiredly. "Just a band-aid for now." Olivia sat across from him. "Anything I can help with?" Elon seemed about to brush off her offer, then reconsidered. "Actually, yes. Look at these specifications and tell me what you notice." He turned his laptop toward her. On the screen were technical plans for a battery component. Olivia studied them carefully. "The cooling system isn't efficient enough for this energy density," she said finally. "It'll overheat under stress." Elon smiled. "That's exactly what I thought, but the engineers insisted it would work." "They're wrong." "I know that now." He took a sip of coffee. "You'd make a good CEO, you know. You have the technical knowledge and the ability to cut through nonsense." Olivia laughed. "I think one CEO in this marriage is enough." "Marriage," Elon repeated thoughtfully. "Sometimes I almost forget it's not." He stopped abruptly as his phone buzzed. The screen showed Mark Cuban's name. Elon's expression changed. He silenced the call. "Not what?" Olivia prompted. "Nothing," Elon said, suddenly distant. "We should head back to your mother's room." The moment was broken, but Olivia couldn't forget the look that had crossed his face when Mark's name appeared. Guilt, or something close to it. As February turned to March, their 3-month deadline loomed closer. Neither mentioned it, as if by silent agreement. They were too busy with Star Kids, hospital visits, and their increasingly comfortable domestic routine. Then Mark Cuban arrived unannounced at their door one evening while they were working on the educational conference presentation. "Mark," Elon said, clearly surprised. "What are you doing here?" Mark glanced at Olivia, then back to Elon. "Just thought I'd check in. It's been a while." Something in his tone made Olivia suspicious. She remembered the odd look that had passed between the two men at the Tesla event, and Elon's strange reaction when Mark's name appeared on his phone. "I'll give you two some privacy," she said, standing to leave. "No need," Mark said quickly. "I just wanted to remind Elon that we have that business matter to conclude soon." "The 3-month arrangement?" Olivia froze. "3-month arrangement? Could he be referring to? She looked at Elon, whose face had gone pale. "We can discuss that later, Mark," Elon said sharply, but it was too late. Something clicked in Olivia's mind. The bet, the timing, Mark's presence. This wasn't about business at all. "What arrangement?" she asked, her voice dangerously calm. The silence that followed told her everything she needed to know. "Olivia." Elon started, but she cut him off with a raised hand. "Don't." Her voice was steady despite the storm inside her. "Just tell me the truth. Was our marriage a bet?" Mark looked between them uncomfortably. "I should go." "No," Olivia said firmly. "You're going to stay and explain exactly what this 3-month arrangement is about." Mark glanced at Elon, who nodded slightly. "It was a stupid bet," Mark admitted, "made at Christmas after too many drinks." "What kind of bet?" Olivia pressed. Mark sighed. "I bet Elon $50 million that he couldn't stay married for 3 months to someone who—" He hesitated. "Someone who what?" Her eyes narrowed. "Someone who doesn't fit his usual type," Mark finished lamely. "You mean someone fat?" Olivia said bluntly. No one spoke for a moment. The silence confirmed her worst fears. "So this whole thing, our meeting, your proposal, everything, it was all for a bet?" She turned to Elon, hurt burning in her chest. "You married me to prove you're not shallow?" "It wasn't like that," Elon said, stepping toward her. "Then what was it like?" Anger replaced her shock. "Please explain how marrying someone as a bet isn't exactly what it sounds like." "It started as a bet," Elon admitted. "But it became something else." "When? When did it become something else?" Olivia demanded. "When you realized I could help. With your presentations? When I connected with your children? Or when you saw how useful I could be for your image?" "That's not fair," Elon said, his own temper rising. "You agreed to this arrangement too. For money." The words hit like a slap. "Yes, I did. To save my mother's life." "What was your noble reason again?" "Oh, right. Your ego and $50 million you don't even need." Mark stepped between them. "This is my fault. I should never have suggested that stupid bet." "No, you shouldn't have," Olivia agreed coldly. "But he shouldn't have agreed to it, and I shouldn't have been naive enough to think—" She stopped, unwilling to admit what she'd begun to feel. "To think what?" Elon asked quietly. Olivia shook her head. "It doesn't matter now." She turned to leave the room. "Where are you going?" Elon called after her. "To pack my things," she answered, without looking back. "Our arrangement clearly isn't working anymore." In her room, Olivia threw clothes into a suitcase, tears blurring her vision. How could she have been so stupid? Of course, there was an ulterior motive. Men like Elon Musk didn't suddenly marry women like her without one. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. "Go away," she called. "Olivia, please!" Elon's voice came through the door. "Let me explain." "There's nothing to explain. I understand perfectly." "No, you don't." He sounded frustrated. "Open the door." Olivia yanked it open, facing him with red-rimmed eyes. "What? What could you possibly say to make this better?" Elon looked shaken, his usual confidence gone. "Yes, it started as a bet. A stupid, drunken bet that I never should have made. But that's not why I stayed in this marriage." "Then, why did you?" "Because—" He seemed to struggle for words. "Because I found someone who sees me, the real me, not the money or the fame. Someone who challenges me and makes me better." Olivia laughed bitterly. "Save it for your next wife." I'm sure she'll be very impressed." "I'm not lying," Elon insisted. "Ask yourself why I invited you to meetings, why I wanted your input on Star Kids, why I came to the hospital." "Because I was useful to you," Olivia shot back. "A smart, fat girl who made you look good to the world." Elon flinched at her words. "That's not true, isn't it? You needed to win your bet, and I helped you do that." She turned back to her packing. "Well, congratulations. You've proven you can tolerate being married to someone who looks like me for almost 3 months. Mark can pay you your $50 million. I don't care about the money," Elon said. "Of course you do. Everything's a transaction to you." Olivia zipped her suitcase. "Including me." She tried to brush past him, but he caught her arm. "Where will you go?" he asked. "To Riley's, then back to Houston." "And your job at SpaceX? The Star Kids program?" Olivia hesitated. She had poured her heart into the program, and the thought of abandoning it hurt. "I'll email you my notes," she said finally. "You can find someone else to run it." "I don't want someone else," Elon said, frustration evident in his voice. "I want you." "You want what I can do for you," Olivia corrected. "There's a difference." She pulled away from him and headed for the stairs. Elon followed. "What about your mother's treatment? Her doctors?" Olivia stopped, her back still to him. It was a low blow, reminding her of her dependence. "I'll figure something out," she said, though she had no idea how she would pay for the expensive treatments without the rest of the money from their deal. "Stay," Elon said, his voice softer now. "At least until we can sort this out?" "There's nothing to sort out." Olivia turned to face him. "Our arrangement was built on a lie. I can't stay knowing that every kind word, every thoughtful gesture, was just to win a bet." "Not everything was about the bet," Elon insisted. "Mark, tell her." Mark, who had been watching uncomfortably from the doorway, stepped forward. "He's right, Olivia. Something changed. I saw it at the Tesla event. The way he looked at you, that wasn't an act." "Stay out of this," Olivia snapped. "You've done enough damage." She continued down the stairs, dragging her suitcase behind her. "I'll call a car," Elon said, reaching for his phone. "Don't bother. I already texted Riley. She's on her way." An uncomfortable silence fell between them as they waited in the foyer. Olivia stared straight ahead, refusing to look at him. "What about the education conference next week?" Elon asked finally. "Present it yourself," Olivia replied coldly. "It's not like you need me." "That's not true," Elon said quietly. "I do need you." For a moment, Olivia almost wavered. There had been times, working late on the Star Kids curriculum, watching him with the children at the pilot program, sitting together in her mother's hospital room, when she'd felt something real between them. But now all those memories were tainted by the knowledge that it had all sprung from a drunken bet about whether Elon Musk could tolerate being married to a fat woman. Car headlights flashed through the window as Riley pulled into the driveway. "That's my ride," Olivia said, reaching for the door. "Please don't go," Elon said, a note of desperation in his voice she'd never heard before. "We can fix this." Olivia looked at him directly. "Some things can't be fixed, Elon. Trust is one of them." With that, she walked out the door and into the cool March night, leaving behind the strange life she'd built over the past 2 months. Riley didn't ask questions as Olivia loaded her suitcase into the trunk, just pulled her into a tight hug. "I told you he was bad news," Riley said as they drove away. "No," Olivia replied, watching Elon's figure grow smaller in the side mirror. "The bad news is that I was starting to fall in love with him." And that, she realized as tears finally came, was the most humiliating part of all. For 3 days, Olivia stayed in Riley's guest room, barely leaving bed except to use the bathroom and pick at the food her friend brought. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages from Elon, which she ignored. "You need to eat something real," Riley said on the 4th morning, setting down a plate of scrambled eggs. "And maybe shower." Olivia sat up reluctantly. "What's the point?" "The point is, you're still alive, even if your marriage is dead." Riley sat on the edge of the bed. "Have you called your mom?" Guilt twisted in Olivia's stomach. "Not yet. She'll be worried." "I know. I just can't face telling her the truth." Olivia pushed eggs around her plate. That her brilliant daughter was stupid enough to be tricked into a fake marriage. "You weren't tricked," Riley corrected. "You knew it was a business arrangement from the start. But I didn't know it was a bet about whether he could stand to be married to a fat woman for 3 months." Riley took her hand. "Look, Elon Musk is clearly an ass for making that bet. But you agreed to the marriage for your own reasons. Good reasons. You have nothing to be ashamed of." Olivia knew her friend was right, but the humiliation still burned. "What about the rest of the money?" Riley asked gently. "For your mom's treatment?" "I don't know." Olivia set aside her barely touched plate. "I can't take it now." "Yes, you can. He owes you." Olivia shook her head. "I'd rather figure something else out than take more money from him." Later that day, as Olivia finally showered, her phone rang with a call from the hospital. Her sister was panicking. Their mother had taken a turn for the worse. "The Swedish specialist wants to try a new approach, but it's expensive," her sister explained. "The doctors are asking what we want to do." "Tell them to do whatever is needed," Olivia said automatically. "I'll figure out the money." After hanging up, she stared at her reflection in the fogged mirror. Pride was a luxury she couldn't afford when her mother's life was at stake. With shaking hands, she texted Elon, "Need to talk about my mother's treatment." His response came immediately. "I'll come to you. Where are you?" Meanwhile, Elon had spent the days since Olivia left buried in work, barely sleeping. Mira found him in his home office at 4 in the morning, surrounded by empty coffee cups. "This isn't healthy," she said, clearing the cups. "I'm fine," Elon replied without looking up from his screen. "No, you're not." Mira sat in the chair opposite his desk. "I've worked for you for 7 years. I've seen you through divorces, business crises, and rocket explosions, but I've never seen you like this." Elon finally looked up. "Like what?" "Heartbroken." He laughed bitterly. "I don't get heartbroken." "Apparently you do." Mira's voice softened. "You miss her." "It doesn't matter. She won't even answer my calls." "Can you blame her? You married her because of a bet." Elon flinched. It wasn't just about the bet. Not at the end. Then what was it about? He stared out the window at the Austin skyline. "She made me better," he said finally. Clearer. More focused on what actually matters. "Did you tell her that?" "I tried. She wouldn't listen." "Try harder," Mira advised. "If she matters to you, really matters, then fight for her." When Elon's phone buzzed with Olivia's text, his heart raced. He called Mira immediately to ready the jet. 2 hours later, he was knocking on Riley's door. Riley answered, her expression cool. "She's only seeing you because of her mom. Don't get any ideas." "Understood," Elon said, following her inside. Olivia sat at the kitchen table, her hair still damp from the shower, wearing borrowed clothes that were slightly too small. She looked tired and smaller somehow. "Thank you for coming," she said formally, as if talking to a business associate. "Of course." Elon sat across from her, resisting the urge to reach for her hand. "What's happening with your mother?" Olivia explained the situation. The treatment wasn't working as well as hoped, and the Swedish specialist wanted to try a more aggressive approach. The hospital needs to know if we're proceeding with the new treatment plan, she finished. It's expensive. That's not a problem, Elon said, immediately. I'll call them right now and make all the arrangements. I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking, I'm offering. Elon met her eyes. Regardless of what's happened between us, your mother's treatment was part of our agreement. I intend to honor that. Olivia looked away. Thank you. After Elon made the call, an awkward silence fell between them. How are you? He asked finally. Fine, she replied automatically. You don't look fine. What do you want me to say, Elon? Irritation crept into her voice. That I'm heartbroken, humiliated, that I actually started to believe there was something real between us? There was something real, Elon insisted. Is something real? Olivia shook her head. You don't even know what's real anymore. Your whole life is deals and transactions. That's not fair. No? Olivia leaned forward. When was the last time you did something that wasn't calculated for maximum benefit? Our entire relationship was based on a bet. It started that way, Elon admitted. But it changed. When? Olivia challenged. When exactly did it change? Elon thought for a moment. At the hospital, when I saw you with your mother. The way you fought for her. The way you put her needs ahead of your pride. He paused. No one in my world does that. Everyone wants something from me. I wanted something too, Olivia reminded him. Money for my mother's treatment. Yes, but not for yourself. Elon ran a hand through his hair. Do you know how rare that is in my life? To meet someone who sees past the money and the power to the actual person? Olivia was silent, processing his words. I miss you, Elon said, quietly. The house feels wrong without you. The kids keep asking when you're coming home. It's not my home, Olivia replied, but with less conviction than before. It could be. Elon reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. I called Mark yesterday and canceled the bet. Olivia looked up, surprised. Why? Because it doesn't matter anymore. None of that matters. Elon's voice dropped. All that matters is that I want you to come back. Not for 3 months. Not for a bet. Just because I want you in my life. For a moment, Olivia almost believed him. Then she remembered the humiliation, the comments online, the cruel jokes. I can't, she said, standing up. Thank you for helping with my mother, but I can't come back. Elon stood too. What about Star Kids? The education conference is next week. Present. It yourself. Like I said, you don't need me. But I do, Elon insisted. The program was your vision as much as mine. More, even. Olivia hesitated. She had poured her heart into Star Kids, and the thought of abandoning it hurt almost as much as leaving Elon. I'll think about the conference, she conceded. But that's all I'm promising. After Elon left, Riley found Olivia staring out the window. You're going back to him, aren't you? Riley asked. Just for the conference, Olivia said. The program matters to me. Riley sighed. Just be careful. Men like him don't change overnight. The next day, Olivia visited her mother in the hospital. The new treatment had already begun, and there was cautious optimism from the doctors. Your husband paid for everything, her mother said, squeezing her hand. He calls the doctors daily for updates. Olivia nodded, unable to tell her mother the truth. Something's happened between you two, her mother observed. You don't wear your ring anymore. Olivia looked down at her bare finger. It's complicated. Mom. Marriage always is. Her mother studied her face. But love is worth fighting for. What if it's not love? Olivia asked quietly. What if it's all an illusion? Her mother smiled gently. Is that what you truly believe? Olivia didn't answer. The truth was, she didn't know what to believe anymore. That night, she dreamed of Elon, not the public figure or the calculating businessman, but the man who had sat beside her mother's hospital bed, who had crouched on a classroom floor explaining space to children, who had looked at her with genuine interest when she spoke. When she woke, she made a decision. She would present at the conference with him for the sake of the program. After that, they would go their separate ways. What she didn't expect was to find Elon waiting outside the hospital the next morning, looking as if he hadn't slept in days. "What are you doing here?" she asked, surprised. "I came to see your mother," he said simply. "And to give you this." He handed her a folder. Inside was the deed to a small house in Houston, in her name. "What is this?" "So you have somewhere to live when you go back to Houston," Elon explained. "And so your mother has somewhere comfortable to recover." Olivia stared at the papers. "I can't accept this." "Yes, you can." Elon's eyes were serious. "It's not a bribe or a transaction. It's an apology for everything." As she looked at him, really looked, Olivia saw something she hadn't noticed before: vulnerability. For the first time, she wondered if the most famous businessman in the world might actually be afraid of losing her. "Why are you doing all this?" Olivia asked, still holding the deed to the house. Elon shifted uncomfortably. "I told you, it's an apology. You could have just said sorry. Would that have been enough?" Olivia considered the question. "No," she admitted, "but this feels like a lot." "I don't know how to do things halfway," Elon said with a small shrug. "It's one of my many flaws." Despite herself, Olivia smiled slightly. "Along with making ridiculous bets?" "That's definitely near the top of the list." He hesitated. "Have you thought more about the conference? It's in 3 days." "I'll be there," Olivia confirmed. "For Star Kids." Relief crossed his face. "Thank you. I've arranged for a private room for you at the hotel, separate from mine," he added quickly. "No pressure." Olivia handed back the house deed. "I appreciate the gesture, but I can't accept this." "Why not?" "Because it feels like you're trying to buy my forgiveness," she said honestly. "And that's not how this works." Elon took the folder with obvious disappointment. "I understand." An awkward silence fell between them. "I should get back to my mother," Olivia said finally. "Of course." Elon stepped aside. "I'll see you at the conference." As he walked away, Olivia called after him. "Elon!" He turned. "Thank you for coming, for helping with my mom." He nodded once, then continued to his waiting car. Inside the hospital, Olivia found her mother looking better than she had in weeks. "Your husband was here earlier," her mother said. "He brought flowers." Sure enough, a large arrangement of colorful wildflowers brightened the sterile room. "That was nice of him," Olivia said carefully. "He looks terrible," her mother observed. "Like he hasn't slept in days. He works too much. Or he misses his wife." Her mother reached for Olivia's hand. "What's really going on between you two?" Olivia sighed. She couldn't keep lying to her mother. "Our marriage. It isn't what you think. It was a business arrangement." She explained about the bet, the money, all of it. When she finished, her mother was quiet for a long moment. "Are you angry?" Olivia asked finally. "Not at you, sweetheart." Her mother squeezed her hand. "But I'm surprised." "About what?" "That you think it was all fake." Her mother's eyes were knowing. "I've seen the way that man looks at you. Business arrangement or not, those feelings were real." "How can you be sure?" "A mother knows these things." She smiled weakly. "And I've never seen two people worse at pretending not to care about each other." The day of the education conference arrived. Olivia had worked remotely with Elon to finalize their presentation, communicating mostly through email. She arrived at the Austin Convention Center separately, feeling nervous as she checked in. "Mrs. Musk," the receptionist greeted her warmly. "Your husband is already in the preparation room." Olivia didn't correct the woman. In the eyes of the law, she was still Elon's wife, even if their marriage had been built on a lie. She found Elon reviewing the presentation on his tablet, looking more polished than when she'd seen him at the hospital. He stood when she entered. "You came," he said, relief evident in his voice. "I said I would." Olivia set down her bag. "Any last-minute changes?" "No, it's perfect as is." He hesitated. "You look nice." She was wearing a professional dress in deep purple, one he had bought her during their time together. "Thank you." She glanced at the presentation on his screen. "Should we run through it once more?" They rehearsed smoothly, the familiar rhythm of their collaboration returning despite the tension between them. The presentation outlined StarKid's Sanfor's mission, curriculum, and early results from the pilot program. "We have 5 minutes before we go on," Elon said when they finished. "There's something I need to tell you." Olivia's stomach tightened. "What is it?" "I've made some changes to the program announcement." "What changes?" "We agreed on everything." "Just trust me on this," Elon said. "Please." Before she could press further, they were called to the stage. The auditorium was packed with educators, tech industry representatives, and media. As the lights dimmed, Elon took the podium. "Good morning," he began. "Most of you know me as the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. You probably expect me to talk about electric cars or Mars missions today." He paused, scanning the audience. "Instead, I want to talk about something more important: the future of education. Specifically, making space science accessible to all children, regardless of background or resources." The presentation began as planned, with Elon explaining the genesis of StarKids and its mission. Then he did something unexpected. "But I didn't create this program," he said. "The true visionary behind StarKids is my wife, Olivia." He gestured for her to join him at the podium. Surprised, Olivia stepped forward. "Olivia took my vague idea and transformed it into something meaningful," Elon continued. "Her curriculum design, her teaching methods, her passion for accessibility, these are the heart of StarKids." He was going off script now, and Olivia felt a flutter of nervousness. "In fact," Elon said, turning to her, "I'd like to officially name Olivia Chen Musk as the Executive Director of the StarKids Foundation, with full operational control and a starting endowment of $50 million. Gasps and murmurs spread through the audience. $50 million, the exact amount of the bet. Effective immediately, Elon continued, StarKids will operate as an independent nonprofit organization, bringing space science education to underserved communities across the country. He turned to Olivia, whose shock must have been evident on her face. If she accepts, of course, he added with a small smile. The audience applauded enthusiastically, unaware of the private drama unfolding on stage. Olivia stepped to the microphone, heart racing. "Thank you," she said, buying time to think. "This is unexpected." She glanced at Elon, who was watching her intently. StarKids has always been about making science accessible to all children, she continued, finding her professional voice. With this foundation, we can expand our reach and impact significantly." She completed their presentation as planned, describing the curriculum and showing videos from the pilot program. The audience response was overwhelmingly positive, with many educators approaching afterward to discuss bringing Star Kids to their schools. Throughout the post-presentation reception, Olivia maintained her composure, even as her mind reeled from Elon's announcement. She noticed he kept his distance, allowing her to shine as educators and donors surrounded her. When the event finally ended, she found him waiting by the exit. "We need to talk," she said. "I know." He gestured to a private conference room nearby. "Shall we?" Once the door closed behind them, Olivia turned to him. "What was that about? $50 million. The foundation? You didn't discuss any of this with me." "I wanted it to be a surprise," Elon said. "That's not how partnerships work," Olivia replied. "You can't just make unilateral decisions." "You're right." He had the grace to look chastened. "I should have consulted you, but I wanted to make a grand gesture." "Why?" "To show you I'm serious." Elon stepped closer. "The $50 million, it was never about the bet with Mark. It was always about what I was willing to risk to find something real." Olivia shook her head. "You're not making sense." "I'm trying to say that I want you in my life," Elon explained. "Not as part of a bet or a business arrangement. As my partner. In everything. And you thought the best way to tell me this was through a public announcement about a foundation?" "I thought actions would speak louder than words," Elon admitted. "I'm not good at this, Olivia. I don't know how to fix what I broke." For the first time, Olivia saw genuine vulnerability in his eyes. This wasn't the calculating businessman or the tech genius. This was just a man, trying desperately not to lose something precious. "I don't know if it can be fixed," she said softly. "Let me try," Elon pleaded. "Come back. Not as my wife if you don't want that title. Come back as the executive director of Star Kids. Come back as my partner in making this program work." Olivia considered his words. Star Kids was important to her, a chance to inspire children who might otherwise never see themselves in STEM fields. And despite everything, working with Elon on the program had been the most fulfilling professional experience of her life. "I'll run the foundation," she said finally. "But I'm not coming back to the house. And I'm not ready to be your wife again, even in name only." Relief washed over Elon's face. "That's enough. For now." As they left the conference center, reporters called out questions about the new foundation and their relationship. Elon guided Olivia through the crowd with a protective hand near, but not touching, her back. "One more thing," he said as they reached her car. "I've been thinking about what you said, about not accepting the house, because it felt like I was buying your forgiveness, and you were right." He handed her a small box. "So I made you something instead." Inside was a delicate model of a Mars habitat, handcrafted from wire and small pieces of metal, clearly made by Elon himself. "It's not perfect," he said as she examined it. "Engineering is easier than art." Olivia ran her finger over the small solar panels and tiny airlock. "You made this?" Elon nodded. "It took 3 tries. The first 2 were disasters." "Why?" "Because some things are worth the effort," he said simply. As Olivia carefully placed the model back in its box, she realized that maybe, just maybe, there was a path forward after all. The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity as Olivia set up the Star Kids Foundation. Elon provided resources, but gave her complete control over the organization, stepping back to let her lead. They settled into a new rhythm, professional partners working together on a shared vision, carefully navigating the complicated feelings between them. Olivia rented an apartment in Austin to be close to the foundation headquarters, but maintained her distance personally. One evening, as they finished a late meeting at the foundation office, Elon asked, "Would you like to get dinner?" "To discuss the expansion plans," he added quickly. Olivia hesitated. They hadn't shared a meal alone since their separation. "Just dinner," he promised, reading her expression. "No pressure." "All right," she agreed, "but somewhere quiet. I don't want to deal with photographers tonight." Elon took her to a small Italian restaurant, where the owner greeted him like an old friend and led them to a private table in the back. "You come here often?" Olivia asked, surprised by the casual familiarity. "It was my hiding place when I first moved to Austin," Elon explained, "before everyone knew I was here." They ordered, and, for a while, discussed only foundation business. The curriculum expansions, new school partnerships, potential corporate sponsors. Safe, professional topics. After their main courses arrived, Elon set down his fork. "How's your mother doing?" "Better," Olivia said, grateful for his genuine interest. "The specialist you found believes she's responding well to the treatment. There's real hope now." "I'm glad." He hesitated. "And how are you?" "Busy. The foundation keeps me focused." "That's not what I asked." Olivia sighed. "I'm adjusting. Finding my footing." "Do you think—" Elon began, then stopped. "Never mind." "What? Do you think you could ever forgive me?" he asked quietly. "For the bet? For all of it?" Olivia studied him across the table. This complex man who had caused her both pain and joy. "I'm working on it," she said honestly. "The foundation helps. Seeing you respect my leadership, my vision. It matters." Elon nodded. "It's your vision. It always was. I just provided the rocket fuel." The tension between them eased slightly as they shared a laugh at his space metaphor. "Your children miss you," Elon said as they waited for dessert. "Especially the little one. She asks about you all the time." Olivia felt a pang of sadness. She missed them too. Their energy, their curiosity, the way they had begun to accept her as part of their lives. "Maybe I could see them sometime," she suggested cautiously. "If that's okay with you." "They'd like that," Elon said, clearly pleased. "We could do something this weekend? The Science Museum has a new space exhibit." Plans were made, careful steps toward a new relationship neither of them could yet define. That Saturday, Olivia met Elon and his children at the museum. The younger ones ran to hug her immediately, while the teenagers offered cautious smiles, aware something had changed, but not understanding what. "Olivia!" the youngest cried, clinging to her legs. "Daddy said you were coming back." Olivia glanced at Elon, who looked uncomfortable. "I said she was joining us today," he corrected gently. Throughout the day, they moved through the exhibits together, almost like a real family. Olivia helped the children with the interactive displays, while Elon took photos, capturing moments she hadn't realized he valued. As they watched the planetarium show, sitting in the darkened theater with stars projected overhead, Elon's hand brushed against hers. Neither pulled away. After the museum, they had ice cream in the park. The children ran to play, leaving Elon and Olivia alone on a bench. "Thank you for today," Elon said. "They needed this. I needed this." "It was nice," Olivia admitted. "I've missed them." "Just them?" Elon asked, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. Before she could answer, his phone rang. He checked the screen and frowned. "I need to take this. It's important." He stepped away to answer. Olivia watched him pace as he talked, his expression growing more concerned. When he returned, his face was serious. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Tesla issue. I need to go to the factory immediately." He ran a hand through his hair. "I'm sorry to cut this short." "It's okay. I understand." Elon called to the children, explaining he had to leave. Their disappointment was obvious. "Can Olivia take us for more ice cream?" the youngest asked hopefully. Elon looked at Olivia questioningly. "I don't mind," she said. "I can drop them at your house afterward." Relief crossed his face. "Thank you." As he prepared to leave, he hesitated, then quickly kissed her cheek. "We'll talk later," he promised. The gesture, brief as it was, left Olivia's skin tingling. She watched him walk away, conflicted feelings swirling inside her. Later, after more ice cream and a trip to the playground, Olivia drove the children home. The Tesla issue must have been resolved, as Elon's car was in the driveway when they arrived. She walked the children to the door, planning a quick handoff, but the youngest insisted she come inside. "Please, Olivia, see my new drawing?" Unable to resist, Olivia followed them in. The house was exactly as she remembered. Her books still on the coffee table, her favorite mug in the kitchen cabinet. As if Elon had preserved everything, waiting for her return. He emerged from his office looking tired but relieved. "Crisis averted," he said. "Thank you for bringing them home." "Of course." Olivia helped the younger children remove their shoes and hang up their jackets. Familiar motions from her time living there. "Would you like to stay for dinner?" Elon asked. "I can order something." "I should get back to my apartment." Disappointment flickered across his face. "Another time, then." As Olivia gathered her things to leave, the youngest child presented her with a crayon drawing. "It's us in space," the little girl explained proudly. The picture showed crude stick figures of all sizes, the whole family, including Olivia, standing on what appeared to be Mars. "It's beautiful," Olivia said, kneeling to hug the child. "I'll keep it forever." Elon walked her to the door. "She draws you in every picture now," he said softly. "Always part of the family." Olivia didn't know how to respond. She had built walls to protect herself, but they were crumbling bit by bit. "Good night, Elon," she said, turning to leave. "Olivia," he called after her, "I miss you, not just as my partner for Star Kids, as my partner in everything." The words hung between them, honest and vulnerable. "I need time," she replied. "I know." He nodded. "I'll wait." Driving back to her apartment, Olivia couldn't stop thinking about the day, the children's joy at seeing her, the familiar comfort of being together, Elon's gentle confession. When she arrived home, she found an email from her mother's doctor. The latest test results were promising. The cancer was responding to treatment. For the first time in months, there was real hope for recovery. Overcome with emotion, Olivia called the first person she wanted to share the news with. "Elon!" "She's getting better," Olivia said when he answered, her voice breaking with relief. "The treatment is working." "That's wonderful news," Elon replied warmly. "I'm so happy for you. For her." "I wouldn't have been able to get her this treatment without you," Olivia admitted. "Whatever else happened between us, I'll always be grateful." "For that? You don't need to be grateful. I'd do it again in a heartbeat." After they hung up, Olivia sat on her couch, holding the child's drawing and the small Mars habitat model Elon had made her. 6 months ago, she had entered into a business arrangement with a billionaire. Somehow, along the way, real feelings had developed on both sides. The next morning, Olivia woke to a text from Elon. "Dinner tonight? Just the two of us. There's something important I need to tell you." She stared at the message, her heart racing. Was this another grand gesture? Or was he finally going to admit the relationship had run its course? With shaking fingers, she texted back, "Yes, my apartment, 7 p.m. I'll cook." That evening, Olivia prepared a simple meal. Nothing fancy, just honest food made with care. She wore a comfortable dress and minimal makeup, no longer feeling the need to impress. Elon arrived precisely at 7, bringing wine and flowers, not an extravagant arrangement, but wildflowers similar to those he had brought her mother in. "The hospital? Thank you for inviting me here," he said, taking in her small but cozy apartment. "It suits you." They ate and talked easily, avoiding weightier topics until after dinner, when they moved to the couch with glasses of wine. "You said you had something important to tell me," Olivia prompted. Elon set down his glass. "Yes, it's about our marriage, about why I really made that bet with Mark." Olivia tensed. "I thought we covered this." "Not everything." Elon took a deep breath. "The bet was real, but the reason behind it wasn't what you think." "What do you mean?" "I needed a reason, an excuse to marry someone quickly," he explained. "I'd been looking for a way to do it for months, and Mark's drunken challenge gave me the perfect opportunity." Olivia frowned. "I don't understand. Do you remember when I asked you to be my wife?" "I said I had business reasons?" Elon asked. "That was true. What I didn't tell you was that I was trying to block a hostile takeover of SpaceX." "What does that have to do with marriage?" "Everything." Elon leaned forward. "Texas marital property laws protect SpaceX in ways my prenups with previous partners couldn't. I needed a spouse who was smart enough to understand the business, but wasn't already tied to the tech world." Olivia stared at him. "You married me to protect your company?" "Partially, yes," Elon admitted. "But then something unexpected happened." "What?" "I started to fall in love with you," he said simply. "The real you. Brilliant, kind, not impressed by my money or fame. Someone who pushed me to be better." Olivia sat in stunned silence, processing his words. "The bet was wrong," Elon continued. "I used it as an excuse, and I hurt you in the process. I'm more sorry for that than you'll ever know." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because you deserve the whole truth," Elon said, "and because I want a second chance, not based on bets or business, but on what's real between us." He reached for her hand. "I love you, Olivia. Not for 3 months, not for a bet. For real." Tears filled Olivia's eyes as the walls around her heart finally crumbled completely. "I love you too," she whispered. "God help me, but I do." 6 months later, Christmas lights once again decorated Elon's Austin mansion. Now, truly, their home. After months of rebuilding trust, Olivia had moved back in October, this time with no time limit on their relationship. "Are you sure about hosting the party here?" Olivia asked as she adjusted a decoration on the massive tree. "We could have done it at the foundation." "And miss the chance to show off my beautiful wife in our home?" Elon replied, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "Never." The Star Kids Foundation had flourished under Olivia's leadership, expanding to 50 schools across the country. Tonight's Christmas party would celebrate their success and announce new initiatives for the coming year. "Hard to believe it's been a year since all this started," Olivia mused. "Best bet I ever made," Elon said, kissing her neck. Olivia elbowed him playfully. "Still not funny? Too soon?" "Try a decade," she replied. But she was smiling. Their reconciliation hadn't been instant or easy. After their mutual declarations of love that night in her apartment, they had taken things slowly, dating properly, learning to trust again. Olivia had maintained her independent role at the foundation, insisting their personal relationship remain separate from their professional one. To everyone's surprise, especially Mira's, Elon had respected these boundaries completely. "You've changed him," Mira had confided to Olivia one day. "He actually leaves the office at reasonable hours now." The doorbell rang, announcing the first guests. "Ready?" Elon asked. Olivia smoothed her emerald green dress. Still plus size, still beautiful. "Ready." The party filled quickly with foundation, staff, teachers from partner schools, tech industry leaders, and close friends. Olivia's mother, now in remission, sat in a place of honor near the fire, chatting animatedly with Elon's children. "There's the man of the hour," called a familiar voice. Mark Cuban approached them, champagne in hand. Olivia still felt a twinge of discomfort around him, though she had eventually forgiven his role in the bet. "Mark," Elon greeted him with a handshake. "Glad you could make it." "Wouldn't miss it," Mark replied, turning to Olivia. "The foundation is doing amazing work. Those kids in East Austin couldn't stop talking about the rocket launch." "Thank you," Olivia said genuinely. "It's been incredible to watch them engage with science." Mark glanced between them, noting how Elon's hand rested comfortably on Olivia's lower back. "So the 3-month marriage experiment became permanent, huh?" "Best decision I ever made," Elon replied without hesitation. "Does that mean I win the bet?" Mark asked with a grin. "Technically, I think I lost spectacularly," Elon laughed, and couldn't be happier about it. He reached into his pocket and handed Mark a check. $50 million, as agreed. Though you'll find it's payable to the Star Kids Foundation's new scholarship fund. Mark examined the check and smiled approvingly. "Perfect use for it." He raised his glass. "To losing bets and finding love." As he walked away, Olivia looked at Elon. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did," Elon said. "A debt paid and a lesson learned. Besides, it was your idea to create the scholarship." The party continued into the night, with Elon giving a short speech about the foundation's accomplishments. He credited Olivia entirely, describing how her vision had created opportunities for thousands of children. "My wife believed in making space science accessible to every child, regardless of background," he said to the assembled guests. "She turned a vague idea into a movement." Watching him from the side of the room, Olivia felt a surge of pride, not just in the foundation's work, but in how far they had come together. Later, as guests began to leave, Olivia pulled Elon aside. "I need to tell you something," she said, leading him to a quiet corner. "Sounds serious," Elon replied, concern crossing his face. "It is." Olivia took a deep breath. "I visited Mom's doctor with her yesterday. Is everything okay?" Alarm filled his voice. "Better than okay." Olivia squeezed his hand. "She's officially in remission. The treatment worked completely." Relief flooded Elon's face. "That's wonderful news." "There's more," Olivia said, suddenly nervous. "I've been keeping something from you." "What is it?" Elon searched her face. Olivia reached into her dress pocket and pulled out a folded document, handing it to him. "What's this?" he asked, unfolding it. "Proof that I can play the long game too," she replied with a small smile. Elon's eyes widened as he scanned the document. Stock certificates showing Olivia as the majority shareholder in Quantum Cell, a revolutionary battery technology company that Tesla had been trying to acquire for months. "You're the anonymous investor behind Quantum Cell?" he asked incredulously. "How is that possible?" "My grandfather was a silent investor in the original research," Olivia explained. "He left his shares to me when he died 10 years ago. I've been quietly guiding the company's development ever since." "But why didn't you tell me?" Tesla has been negotiating for 6 months, Olivia finished for him. I know. Understanding dawned on Elon's face. You were evaluating me. Olivia nodded. The technology is revolutionary. It could change everything about electric vehicles, energy storage, even space travel. I needed to know what kind of partner you'd be before agreeing to any merger. Partner? Elon repeated, still processing the revelation. Business and personal, Olivia clarified. I needed to know the real Elon Musk, not the public figure or the calculating CEO. So while I was testing our marriage with a bet, I was conducting my own experiment, Olivia confirmed. Seeing if you were the right person to entrust with this technology. Elon stared at the document, then back at Olivia, before breaking into laughter. We're quite a pair, aren't we? Both hiding our true motives. The difference is, Olivia said, taking the papers back, my motive was protecting something valuable, not winning a bet. And? Did I pass your test? Elon asked, suddenly serious. Olivia studied him. This complex man who had entered her life on false pretenses, but somehow become essential to it. You did, she said softly. Despite everything, I've seen who you really are when no one's watching. How you treat people who can't do anything for you. How you genuinely want to make the world better. So what happens now? Now we negotiate a real partnership, Olivia said. Quantum Cell and Tesla, a merger of equals. Elon shook his head in amazement. You never cease to surprise me. Good, Olivia smiled. A little surprise keeps things interesting. I have a surprise for you too, Elon said, reaching into his pocket. He pulled out a small box. Olivia's breath caught. Elon, we're already married. Yes, but for all the wrong reasons. He opened the box to reveal a new ring, simpler than her original one, but somehow more meaningful. I thought we could renew our vows, start fresh, for the right reasons this time. Tears filled Olivia's eyes as he took her hand. Olivia Chen, Elon said, his voice uncharacteristically emotional. Will you marry me again? Not for a bet, not for business, but because somehow, against all odds, we found something real? Olivia looked at the man before her, flawed, brilliant, and hers. Yes, she whispered, but on one condition. Anything. No more secrets, no more tests or bets, just truth between us. Deal, Elon agreed, sliding the ring onto her finger alongside, her original one. As they sealed their new beginning with a kiss, Olivia marveled at life's strange twists. A Christmas bet had brought them together for all the wrong reasons, but love had kept them together, despite everything. Their marriage had begun as dual deceptions. His bet, her secret company, yet somehow had transformed into something genuine and lasting. Perhaps that was the greatest surprise of all. In the background, the Christmas tree lights twinkled, illuminating the home they now truly shared. Outside, a rare Texas snow began to fall, coating the world in a blanket of white. Clean slate for the new year and their new beginning. Where are you listening from today? If you enjoyed this emotional tale of two people finding connection in the most unlikely circumstances, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more intriguing stories like this one. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family to spread kindness and awareness. Your support helps us continue creating content that entertains while exploring meaningful human connections. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.